Welcome to the Tiger's Den. I am Toothless Tiger, and this is the voice of Cheryl. I was running a little behind, y'all. I had to go to the little girl's room. I can hear my son right now saying, TMI, TMI. But you know, I'm a senior, so we do that. And then I couldn't find my earrings. So you know I got to get beautified, or they call it functified, before I hit the screen. I want to just thank everybody for being here. As I say my salutes, I have a dynamic guest for you guys. Oh, Tim, thank you. I have a new member. Drop those tiger heads. Thank you, Tim. I love you. Okay, I want to say salute to Maria. Hey, Maria, Maria. LL Smiles, salute. Trinity T Awareness, salute. I love you guys. Thank y'all for joining me. Tim, salute. Double time. Regina M, salute. Glad you're here. Overthoughts, salute. Betty Pippany, salute. Troy Carter, salute. Reggie Reg, salute. A Shoe, salute. Arabia, Barboza, DeSota, salute. Ernest Jones, good to see you, Ernest. Hey, Carolyn, salute, salute. Okay, we have enough of us here for me to get started. That's why I kind of played the song over too, because I was a little late, but I wanted to get some people in because my guests, I don't want you to miss a moment of it. So much so, I want to say, please allow me to present Miss Jackie Ragland, but I want to read her bio. Normally I try to ad lib, but she wrote such a beautiful bio. I'm going to read it in her words. And with her being an author, it's only befitting that I give it the attention that it deserves. And as she starts, on the Lord's Day of July 9th, 1962, a blessing was given to Willie and Hazel Lewis in the form of a second baby girl. They named her Jacqueline, after First Lady at that time, Jacqueline Kennedy. Her primary years would be spent in Tyler, Texas, with her late grandmother, Lobie B. Johnson, who would live to be almost 104 years old. And maybe that's why Jackie and I clicked so, because my grandmother lived to be 104 years old. And that's what I asked for, 104 years. When Jackie was 8 years old, she came to live with her mother, Hazel Johnson, for the next 10 years. She attended J.J. Rhodes Elementary School for her third and fourth grades. She attended Pearl C. Anderson Middle School for the fifth and sixth grades. She attended John B. Hood Junior High for her seventh and eighth grades. She attended the high school for her health professions for her ninth to 12th grade. Her desire was to be a pediatric nurse, and then she changed it to a pharmacy assistant, and finally, an RN. She wanted to travel with the Dallas Cowboys as a personal trainer, but the Lord knew best, and that desire hasn't happened yet, she says, because it's never too late. Let me pause, she says, and give honor to Abba Father for calling her at the age of 13 or 14 in the summer of 1975. Put your seatbelts on, because 1980 was the year to remember. She got her first boyfriend, graduated high school in May, turned 18 in July, and moved away from her home in the summer. And in December, she got married. The next 10 years would be very abusive for her, but she gave birth to three sons in 1983, 85, and 87, all weighing 10 pounds at birth. Today, she is the proud grandmother of 11 grandchildren and another one on the way. She retired from her job of 41 years as of 12/31/21. She has authored 2 books that have been published. 20 questions to ask before you say I do for single Christian women, and a children's book titled My First My First Visit to See Daddy in Prison. She is the Chief Administrative Officer for the nonprofit organization Revival Across America and the Chief Executive Officer for the nonprofit Happy Meals Association. Time will not permit me to name all the organizations she does countless hours of volunteer work for, but the biggest one is the Salvation Army. And of course, she is a volunteer at her church, Faith Christian Center, and assists with the 4 and 5-year-olds and daughters of Faith girls, 1 to 5 grade. And I guess I should have said fifth, but 5 just came out good that time. She says from the day she was born, the blessing of the Lord was upon her, and she is blessed to be a blessing. One of her favorite scriptures that she quotes is in her words, I am like a tree planted by the rivers of water, whose leaves will not wither, and everything I will do prosper, because I do it unto him. And she didn't give that scripture, but that sounds like Proverbs 1. Psalms 1, I'm sorry, not Proverbs 1. You know, I can mess up a Bible story real good, but I think that's Psalms 1. But it could be another one, so here, don't hold me to it. Without further ado, I've kept her waiting for far too long. Please join me as I welcome author Jackie Ragland.
Hello, Cheryl.
How you doing?
Hello, everyone that's watching tonight. Thank you for
Oh,
having me on, first and foremost. I really appreciate it.
oh yes, I wouldn't have it any other way. You know, I bought the first book, but I did not pull it out because I was very excited about this one. This one is kind of dear to me because I spent so many years in visitation rooms. You know my story with the two
Yes.
men that I loved, and my son, and my daughter, my niece that I call my daughter, they both spent time in those rooms. So when I saw that book, it was just awesome. And I did get it so that I could show the public, but I'll be damned. Oh, hold on 1 second, because I had it right here by me. I don't know. Maybe some of you have loved ones in prison. Maybe some of you don't. Maybe you know somebody that has someone in prison. But this is a book, My First Visit to See Daddy in Prison. And this book is totally awesome. I mean, when children look at books, they read pictures. And these pictures are so telling. If you can see it, I never get my camera right. But if you guys can see that, it's awesome, awesome, awesome. I mean, Jackie, you came up with a brilliant idea, and I really love those questions that you asked in the book. I just want the people to see. This is sold on Amazon. That's where I bought mine. And Jackie, you can tell us more about that at the end of the interview if you have another way that you want people to purchase the book. But without further ado, what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut my camera back on because it removed me from the damn screen. I didn't mean to do that. I just meant to do that. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is start my interview process. And what I'd like to know first, and I'm sure everyone would like to know, is what was your inspiration about the book, behind the book? What was the inspiration behind the book?
It's based on personal experience. If you're here in America, you either have a loved one that's in your immediate family or somebody in your family, or you know someone that have had the unfortunate experience of being a part of the penal system, that have gone to jail or prison. And it was personal for me because my oldest son had to do some prison time. And I took his two children, he has a son and a daughter, who thank God. Both are now high school graduates this year, and both will be attending college this year.
Great.
So thank God for that. With them, I saw because they were very young when I first took them. They were only like 6 or 7 years old. And children don't speak like adults. They can't tell you their feelings, or they don't know the right questions to ask or anything like that. But I could just sense the energy as we
Mm-hmm.
went through the process. And of course, it was my first time, so I didn't know anything to tell them. So we just had to go through the process. So because I found it to be, it started off, I don't want to say uh, traumatic for them, but it was very different.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that once we got through the process, that I would have to then start explaining things to them as far as why this or why that, even at the age of 7, because little children, they ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my first inspiration. So the Lord just told me to, write it down step by step as far as the process that we went through, and I did, but it took me more than 10 years to complete the book because I just set it aside and life continued.
Mm-hmm.
And thank God my son came home, and I said, Lord, for 2022, one of my goals, and you write your goals down, I said, I'm going to complete that book and I'm going to have that book published. And he
You
helped
did
me
it.
to bring that to fruition.
Well, that's absolutely beautiful. So, where can we get it?
Right now, it is available on Amazon, and there's something else that's in the works in reference to publishing that I can't share until I get the green light. Didn't
Okay,
want to
that
let the
sounds
cat out
good.
the bag and put the cart before the horse.
Okay, so can adults learn from this book? What can adults learn from this book?
What adults can learn is when they read the book for themselves, and as they go through the process, then they'll be able to tell the child what to expect. That when you get there, you're going to see people in uniforms, and depending on the state, here in Texas, where my son was, the uniforms were all gray. And
Mm-hmm.
you can explain that to them. You can explain why the drive is going to be so long, because they never place the loved one anywhere close. It's going to always be far. You can explain to them when they see these tall fences with barbed wire at the top, things like that, towers, and a lot of things as far as the process is concerned, that we can't take anything in, and you can prepare them so that they can have somewhat of an understanding, before you even go there, of some things to expect, like when they have to pull their pockets out and they call them rabbit ears. Then they'll say, oh yeah, mama taught me this, I knew that I was going to have to do this, and it makes it easier for their first visit if they know what to expect. But small children, they don't retain information like we do. You have to repeat, repeat, and repeat.
Mm-hmm.
But once you explain it to them and they have their first visit, then it makes it so much less stressful on both the child and the adult, because those long drives can you can end up very frustrated because of the drive itself.
Yes, exactly. And one of the reasons that they don't have in most states, and especially this one, but most states, because prison is a big industry and they
Yes.
make more money housing prisoners than they do educating children. And so one of the reasons they put them in rural areas so that they can give them an economic base. And if you notice, a lot of the guards at the prison, and even up to the warden, because they start, as COs, and then they work up to, lieutenants and sergeants, and then they go up to the captains, and then they go to the, majors, and then they become wardens. Most of them are family. And so they're mostly in rural urban towns, Mostly the people in those towns are European, and so it gives them an economic base. They have a place to work. And so that's something to see. If you have to go there longer periods of time, you'll even see them move up in statute for the ones that's climbing that ladder. And that's one of the reasons that the drives are so long, because they take most of the people out of the inner city and ship them off to faraway land. Yeah, so that's good to know.
Yes.
Let me see. Tell us something about one of y'all trips that y'all had. I used to have some interesting trips when we went to the prisons. Did you have anything interesting happen to you on any of those road trips when you were going to the prisons?
Well, mine mostly was always, Lord, let us make it down there safely. Rebuke the accident demons, speed demons. I don't want any of that to interfere, which, like you said, on those rural roads, it's so easy to speed. And I did have an incident when I was leaving, and going through those towns where the speed limit is, I mean, it drops immediately. And you're still up to speed. And, they have their speed traps. And this police officer who's familiar with the process,
Mm-hmm.
he was like, okay, where are you coming from? And I told him, he said, okay, I'm going to let you off this time with a warning, but don't you come through here speeding anymore. So you have to learn very quickly which towns and what those speed limits are so you can abide by them. And because if you've ever gotten a speeding ticket outside of the county that you live in, it's a nightmare as far as having to go back there to deal with the court. If you don't want to do that, you have to pay the fines. So we've had experiences as far as roads are concerned, road hazards, stopping, getting quarters when you didn't have enough quarters. Uh, before your trip for the vending machines. So each one of them has its own experience.
Yeah, that's really good. I'm going to share one of my stories, and the reason I'm doing this is because you've answered several of my questions that I was going to ask you. You've already answered them. So I want this interview to be interesting. So I'm going to share it because, I tell people I've been to prison more than anybody I know. And some people took that literal. And then some people would say, well, how y'all listen to Toothless and she been to prison? But what they didn't listen to, because I told them, but I was on the visitation side. You know,
Yes,
I've even been blessed enough where I was able to go in from the back of the prison where they check in all the way up to the warden's office. I had the opportunity to tour the entire prison because of some of my affiliations with state representatives. And the Honorable State Representative Terry Hodge is well known throughout the Texas prison system and even
yes,
other states. And so when she was serving, I had the privilege of going with her. Sometime I would drive her to the different prisons. And it's very, very, very interesting, I tell you, to say the least, to go in there and to actually see how they live. We see them at visitation, but to see them in the day room and in their, cells, and it's a whole nother experience. And especially those that are, like most of the prisons are, they're maximum security, but they're not like super max like you hear in some states. But they are caged inside of the cage. And it's really interesting to see, to go in the chow hall and actually eat the chow food. That's an experience within itself. But my first trip, when my second husband, when he went to prison, and the first time I went to visit him, I took all my nieces and nephews because in Texas, if the children are under 18, they don't have to be on the visiting list.
right.
So it was about five children and myself, and I'm one of those that's flying down the highway, but we were going down one of the state highways. We wasn't on an interstate. We was on the state highway, and I'm flying down, and I'm going this way, and the officer is coming opposite me, go up the hill, turn around, come back, and pull me over. And I'm telling him that, We had been to the prison. I told that story. He didn't do me like they did you. He gave me a damn ticket. But kids was all saying it and happy. And when you get ready for the prison trip, what you have done really is awesome. And I really wish anybody that have anything to do with the prison system, if you have a loved one there or a family member with the loved one, and you really probably don't like what happened, but you really want to support them, I think you should get this book, especially if they have children, because what you've done in breaking down the process, like getting there. See, I, like you, when I first went there, I had been to a prison before, but I didn't even think to prepare the children for what they were about to see.
Hmm.
Like wearing, well, we know that children can get away with wearing clothes that adults can't. But we know that there's a special way you got to dress and things, and you address that in the book, which is so very important to know. A lot of people will go and try to look their personal best, but if it's too revealing, like, and it's according to what prison you go to and what guard is on duty. If the dress is above your knee, they won't let you in. I had an incident where my dress was above my knee, but I thought it was right at my knee. And they're going to tell me to go to Walmart. They always have a local Walmart, and they always trying to send your ass to Walmart to buy something. And I told them I wasn't going to no damn Walmart, and I drove 5 hours, so I'm visiting. And they told me, well, you're not getting in with that dress on. Well, we had a blanket in the back seat that I had for the children. I went and got that damn blanket and tied that damn blanket around. It was bad as hell, but they had to let me in. And so I went in there. I had on a brown, like animal print dress, and the blanket was green. So I looked like a bohemian mama walking in that damn prison. But I was not
Okay.
going to Walmart to buy shit. I was going just the way I came there. And it was really a fascinating time, too. So that was really good. So let me ask you about the distribution of your book. Is that the thing that you couldn't talk about, or
Well,
how
no, I
people
can
distribute it?
speak on that right now.
Okay.
I just got it published on Amazon, and I've sent it out as a complimentary copy to a few, should I say, mega churches, because
Mm-hmm.
most churches have prison ministries.
Mm-hmm.
And I also will be sending some to the prisons here in Texas to be a part of their, hopefully, their law library. But I'll go through the chaplains, get the appropriate approval in order for them to make it a part of the prison. And right now, and I'm getting ahead of myself, I have no resources. The book was just written, it's just being published. So I'm doing all of this out of pocket. To God be the glory. I have a
Mm-hmm.
few coins where I'm able to do that, because right now it's just the mailing expense that I have. And as of yet, I haven't compiled my list. And sure, maybe you know this or maybe you do not, as far as how many total prisons we have here in the state of Texas.
Yeah, I can get you the information. As a matter of fact, if you look in the description of this video, what I've done is I went and put information of about maybe 10 states and put their prison system there. And when you go to their website, you can look up the prisons and they'll have them all listed, and they'll tell you if they're trustee camps, if they're, minimum security, maximum security. They'll let you know what type of prisons they are. So you can get all kind of information on their websites. And I've done that for at least 10 states. I know I did California, I did Georgia, Illinois, Ohio. That's where a lot of my people look at me from. Louisiana, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama. Alabama has a famous prison, the Holman prison. I used to look at prison shows on A&E when I used to look at TV all the time, and that was one that they used to talk about, the Holman prison. So I did put that information out there so people can go in their state. And you have, of course, TDCJ is at the top, Texas Department of
Okay.
Corrections. It's at the top, and when you hit that website, you can find a plethora of knowledge about the prison system. And then they even have a link that can even take you to the parole board so that you can even find out about the parole system and how it works and how they make their decisions and things of that nature. So I put that in the description for
Thank
everybody.
you, Cheryl. You're always so thorough. Just a plethora of knowledge and information, just a wealth of knowledge.
Thank you, Jackie. Can I tell them how we met?
Just don't disclose everything,
I
Cheryl. You
won't
know you
tell
can't
where.
talk.
I'll just say where we met. We had a
Okay.
job that we shared, and Jackie is dynamic. She is great. She's very poised, like you see her right now. She's like that all the time. And she worked in one department. I worked in another department, but she was coming to my department. And I'm the type of person when I'm at work, I am kind of no nonsense, but I am a people person. But I don't go and hang out at the desk and shit like that. I would go to the smoking room. That would be my biggest problem is in the smoking room. But I would go to the smoking room and I would probably stay longer than you probably supposed to stay in the smoking room. But that's about the only thing I do. And then I sit at my desk all day. I didn't leave for lunch or anything like that. But anyway, Jackie was known as a fighter for righteousness' sake. And I'm known as a cusser. So they just knew we were going to bump heads, you know. And so they pumped her up to tell her about me, pumped me up to tell me about her. And I had this office when we had to be in the office because we had the privilege of working from home. But I had one that was right on the corner. I could see different areas of the city, and it was absolutely beautiful. And so they were saying that like she was going to get my desk, and they went by, how long you'd been there or whatever. And I'll be damned. Ain't nobody getting my desk. But she didn't even want the damn desk. They were just trying to cause confusion, like we see in the YouTube world. And then people say this is just YouTube. No, you can apply some of these things that go on YouTube to what goes on in your real life. And we met each other, and I mean, it was like love at first sight
It
as far as
was.
sisterhood. We laughed, we talked. She was willing for me to sit with her. She taught me all of the knowledge that she had, and she was willing to go with me to do what I needed to do to get my job done. And we've been friends ever since that moment. So what they meant for evil, it turned out for both of our goods because we've been
Yes.
helping each other on things that we need to know throughout the whole years. And I've been retired since 2011. So, and we're still here. So what people think they're doing, sometimes they're really helping you out because they had really told us that both of us was no earthly good. But the way they said it was like, they were pitting us against one another. But it didn't work.
Yeah, it worked.
Didn't work. Let me just say salute to a few people that I see have come in. I want to acknowledge you, JMO, and salute. I see Daughters of Zion, salute. Indigo Sense, salute. Brianna Smith, love you, love you, love you. That's my little granny girl. She's a little teenager now and too cute. Mimi, salute. A Random Podcast, salute. Happy Tuesday back to you. Tanae, salute. Wilma, what would I do without you? Producer, salute. Moonlight, shining beautiful in the night. Salute. Look like Big Cuz 410, salute. I think I got everybody. Just got to make sure I hit everybody. Doug Murray, salute. And you guys do remember Abby A, my sweet, sweet Abby A. Salute. I want you guys to know that I have membership now. Phyllis Lee, salute. I didn't think you were here. Jackie Phyllis says, so true. Yes, true. Allison, salute. Yes. Whitfield Pennywise, salute. Michelle, salute. And I want you guys to know that I do have memberships now. If you haven't joined, please join the membership. It helps support my channel. As I explained Sunday, this is truly a business for me now. and I want to work it in that manner. So when I ask for something, I'm asking for support of my business to help me grow my channel, to give you better information, and so that I can have some change for cool filter kings, because I will not stop smoking anytime soon. I don't believe I could wake up tomorrow and say, fuck it, I don't want to smoke no more. But knowing me like I do, that may not happen, but it could, because I've quit several times. So, Chef, thank you. Thank you so much for that super chat. Now let me put a little respect on it, and Jackie, I'm gonna be back. I told you I'm wasting time because you done answered damn near all your questions, and we have an hour. You look so beautiful, Jackie. By the way. Okay, Jackie. Now let me see, Jackie. How can our listeners help you?
They can help by everyone that know of someone that have a loved one in prison or even in jail, by going to Amazon, purchasing the book, and giving it as a gift. Read it yourself
Beautiful.
so that you can share that information and then pass it on to someone else, because it's important for the children, but it also helps the adults, because we're all affected
Mm-hmm.
by the prison system, all of us.
Yes. Yes. So beautiful. And what I want to do, if it's anybody that is in the sound of my ear that is in the chat, and if you have a loved one in prison, or if you know someone that's dear to you that have a loved one in prison and you think that they can benefit from this, I would like to give two books. And so I would need the first two people, and I'm going to be looking at the timestamp, that send me an email requesting the book. I'm going to gift you the book. I need your name and I need a mailing address to have it shipped to, because I'm just going to have it shipped from Amazon. But I would like to give two people. So if the first two people that would like to have this book to give to a loved one, I'm going to give that to you from the Tiger's Den. That's the thing that we do. I'm not big enough to give away big cash or nothing like that, because I too am operating off of my own funds. I live off of half of my income, but I live a very comfortable life. So I have no complaints. And like I said, everything I do, I would do it for free. I would do it anyway, just because that's who I am. But I think the more we educate ourselves and the more that we talk to our children about things like the prison system, like you said, that affects us all, I think it really helps. And I think that if we would support one another, we always talking about we think black. Well, I don't think black because I'm not black. Black is dead in the eyes of the law. I'm Asiatic. And when you think Asiatic, we have to start supporting one another. And just because one person messed you over, you cannot give up on all of everybody who's doing business. Because when the European mess you over, you don't say, well, damn, I ain't never take my car to another European in my life. No, you just go find another one and you still get messed over. So I would just suggest that if you've gotten messed over by one, that's one. But give somebody else a try, because we have brilliant minds. We invented everything, and we cannot support each other because we were taught not to. And here I go hitting the damn thing like I always do. I can never not do something wrong.
And let me
I'm sorry, Jackie. I had hit that. Whenever somebody give to me, I normally just acknowledge them. So please forgive me for that.
I'm glad. It would be wonderful if it just kept happening in
Yeah.
succession. And because you've done that, I would also like to match it. So, we're girls, so I know your cash app. So I'll cash app you the money to send out two additional books, because I know it's going to be way more than four people that have a loved one in prison or know of someone that have a loved one in prison that this book can benefit.
Okay. Okay, that was my producer, and she was just wondering if you ever thought about reading your books in the public libraries or in the like community centers. Um, have you ever thought about doing that
Yes,
to help
I
the children
have,
do the?
and it's something that's in the works. And the reason I say that is because at this point, I'm not sure if I want to do it to use my own voice or to do it, have a small child to read it, or a child and an adult to read it like a play. So thank you for that question. Yes, it is in the works.
And my producer also, like I told you, is a professional. And so, if you ever decide you want to have it, audio, and she can sound like a child. She can
Okay.
sound like any damn thing you want her to sound. She can sound like a cow. She can sound like a bull. Sound
That's
like a damn elephant. She can sound like some shit you can't even think of sounding like. She has accents. She's good, very good,
great.
and
Thank
very
you.
reasonable.
See, your
Very
wealth of
reasonable.
knowledge, Cheryl. You have
Yeah,
resources.
a lot of people like I was sharing with you what had happened here on YouTube and how crazy it is, and I didn't even understand it. And the people start calling me fake and phony, and I'm so they're disappointed and disgusted with me. I said, these damn people don't even know me, because if they knew me, I promise you they wouldn't be saying any of that. They would probably be saying, y'all need to leave her alone. But
That's true.
they don't know me, so I couldn't take it personal.
I would
um,
have to say to know Cheryl is to love Cheryl because what you see is what you get. She keeps it 100, and that is what I love about her because, as she was saying, our first encounter when we met each other, we was like, "You're the one that they're talking about." What? I don't understand. You know what all of that was about. And we immediately clicked. It's because she is so real. And I'm not just saying this, I mean this from my heart. And I
I
tell you
know.
this all the time. You're just 100. And that's what you don't have very many friends that will keep it real with you and tell you the truth in love and will help you. A lot of people, unfortunately, that's not their forte. It's all about self. But Cheryl is one of the very few that goes way beyond herself and she will help anyone. And I really appreciate having you as a friend, Cheryl.
Thank
You're
you,
a
Jackie.
very
I feel
valuable
the same.
asset to me.
Yeah, I feel the same way. You've worked the same for me as I've worked for you, and that's what it's all about. I think people miss the concept of what it's really about to live. I said this the other night. We spend our time teaching people how to die and preparing for somewhere that we're not. We don't teach them how to live and how to give and how to love. Because love is an action. It's just not a word. It's just not a feeling. And I see my son is in the chat, and that's beautiful, because one thing I know about him, he would say that she give a lot of unsolicited advice, and she
Well,
does.
Greg, she's your mom. She's going to do that to the day you die. So,
Yeah,
just accept
yeah.
it. It's all in
And
love.
his second word is, and she's very opinionated, and she is. I'm all of the above. But as you said, in love, it may not sound like it sometimes, but it really is in love. Um, Laura said it's story time, and I don't know a story unless I just tell the story. Story time is normally I'll tell something about what the subject is, and so you can tell the story if you like, or I can tell the story. You can make it quick if you like. We have about 15 minutes, maybe 19 minutes. You can tell a story, or I can tell a story, and it's normally about the subject matter. Let me just say salute to the Secretary of Common Sense. Salute. Peep Gang, salute. So glad you're here. Brian Black, salute. I'm so glad that you guys joined us. It means so much to me. Coyote Cage, Trey, Coleon, it means a lot. Thank you guys all of you for being here. Here's a question that needs to be answered. What age group do you think the book is best suited for? What age group would you say?
I would say that it should start with the child that may be at the very youngest, 5 or 6 years old, as far as their comprehension. Now, we do know that our 5 and 6 year olds back in our day, Cheryl, is nothing like the 5 and 6 year olds today, because they
Nothing.
have so much information that's available to them as far as the internet, the phones. We didn't have all of that. We just wanted to wake up, eat our bowl of cereal, go outside and play. But
Mm-hmm.
these children now, they have so much information, so they're so far advanced as far as what they know and what they can understand from even the cartoons that they watch. So
Mm-hmm.
it depends on the child as far as their ability to comprehend and understand and retain, and what they're going to go through and the questions that they ask you. But if you are in that situation, you can ask the child, and then the child will let you know, and then you'll have a better understanding as far as their level is concerned.
Mm-hmm. That's good. And then, I think even for the little children, you could just let them see the book, because children, when they first start reading, actually it's visual. They,
Yes,
they pick
very
up books
visual.
all the time and they just start telling you what they see in the picture. And
Right.
so, I think any age that a child can get a book and look at it, and like you said, I would say like you would do with if you're going to educate a kid, you would start in the womb. If the mother is pregnant
It's
and the
true.
father is locked up, you want to read the book to the baby. If the baby is little, and you want to read a good night book, you want to read the book, because in our hearing it gets in our knower. It says, how
Yes.
can we learn except we hear? We got to have a teacher to teach. So at any age they may not comprehend, and we know that they won't be able to differentiate like we will, but that's how other kids are so far advanced than ours. And then we think that they are so greater than us, but we are the original people. How can you be greater than the original? You can't. It's the way we do things and the way we teach. So,
And life is a cycle. As far as the children, what they learn, they all go through the same thing. They're born, they have to learn how to crawl before they walk, then they
mm-hmm,
learn how to talk. And by the time you get older and you have all of this knowledge, then you're ready to go to the grave with it. So why be selfish? I'm thinking that's selfishness. Pass that information on to the next generation. Well, they don't want to hear it, or they're just so bad. You never know. I'm gonna take a sidebar if you don't mind, share real quick. I
no.
don't know if anyone have ever read the story of Billy Graham, but from what I've read, he went to this big meeting, and the guy was there, and he was ministering, and he asked the people to come forward, and he was only one person went forward, and he thought, oh, I'm just a failure. I didn't do what I was supposed to do. Only one person, but that one person turned out to be Billy Graham,
Mm,
and the rest is history. So you never know what that one person, how it may impact their life or how it may turn out. So never take that, for granted. Just
mm-hmm,
always be willing, Cheryl, and you do this all the time, to be able to share, because as the word teach us, that the older women are to teach the younger women. It doesn't
mm-hmm,
mean like in a classroom setting.
mm-hmm,
You're teaching me now by me sitting here talking to you and just one on one, because a lot of things, because life is a cycle,
mm-hmm,
a lot of people can avoid a lot of pitfalls. But like you said, you have to hear.
mm-hmm,
And that's the reason I sincerely believe God gave us two eyes and two ears and one mouth, because He wants us to hear more and see more than what we speak. And that what they taught us when we were young, I don't know if they teach the children this nowadays, is that when your mouth is open and you're talking, your ears are closed, you cannot listen, because you can't listen and talk at the same time. So, yes, it's very important, like you said, as far as the hearing and the listening and the teaching. So you're right, as far as, any age, don't underestimate a particular child's ability to understand, because they may not be able to verbally respond to you, but they can
Mm-hmm.
understand and comprehend. Because if when you had, I know my son, when he was young, and I think he was like 7 months, I don't remember what it was, he couldn't talk to me, but I knew that he understood. He especially understood when I said, spank, you're going to get spanked or obey. He didn't want that pain, and I'm not saying abuse your children. No, it's nothing wrong with giving them a tap to get their
Mm-hmm.
understanding, so that they will know that there are consequences in life, and it's not, and some of it is going to be painful. They just put it out there.
Okay. Now, one of the questions that was asked is, can the book eliminate some of the fears because they want to understand, or can it help them eliminate their fears? Give me 1 second and let me just shout out to my gamers. Uh, Real Chase Bank, salute. I see Dark Star Menace, salute. My beautiful niece, Awesome Powers, salute. Trey, salute. Yam Sam, man, salute. Chef, salute. And I like to acknowledge my gamers because, I'm not a gaming person. I never play games. I don't like games at all. But my little nephew, Cedric loves them. I mean, he just, he is a whiz at the games. He probably could play with some of the best of these guys, but I never could get into it. Greg liked some, he liked the Xbox and stuff like that. But he didn't, my beautiful niece, so I'll be, hello. He didn't do a lot of the Pac-Man and stuff like that, although I bought all of those games, but I never could get into them. But what I love about these guys who have the gaming shows, because there's so much craziness in the YouTube world with us as a people, they give people relief, a place to go, because it's a lot of people that love games. Like, it's a lot of the guys love wrestling. Greg still loves wrestling. He loves, goes all over the world wrestling. He travels to see it. So I just love supporting them, because I think that, let's say the people, well, it used to be like you said, when we were growing up, if you was poor, you were poor. You didn't have no damn TV in every room, and they wasn't whatever the big flow model, you barely had a little ass TV, you know. Okay, I got to put some respect on that. Now, when you're poor, and what I mean by poor is living in the projects, shit, everybody got a big screen in the room. Even the little babies have their own tablet. They have their own iPhones. They have their own everything. And so they know the games and they know how to play the games. That's why we know they can learn. So what I loved about Cedric, he's a kid, you think he's playing a game. And you say, what are you doing on that tablet all day? Hell, he's doing science programs.
Wow.
He's doing mathematics. I will never forget, and I've told the story before, and I got to tell it right now because it's so apropos. My cousin, it was my cousin, my oldest sister, my little nephew, and myself. We were going to see my uncle who was in a nursing home. And as we were going to see him, we were going to go out to eat first. Well, this song out, it's called I'm different. Yeah, I'm different. I'm different. Pull up on the scene with a something, something. Okay, so I'm the kind of person, I like cussing. So I like to hear the cussing version of a song. Now I listen to the clean version on the radio, but fuck that. I want to hear the real shit, what they saying.
Okay.
So I would let Cedric listen to the real shit. So I'm the Annie probably the people probably would talk about. But he's very respectful, very knowledgeable. He is a Gemini. And for some reason, I love Geminis. But anywho, we was going, and so he was in the car playing I'm Different, and I let them play it as loud as they want to because I have my little music on. And so we were in the car and we went out to eat and we went to the Olive Garden. So now you know that he's playing I'm Different.
Yes.
So we get in the place to sit down, and so he, children can kind of tell you what they feel about people. I don't know what it was that he felt about my cousin because he didn't voice it, but I'm gonna tell you who he is. He had the music up loud in the car. He dancing, doing his own thing. We get to the restaurant and he pulled out the tablet. She said, "Oh, he's gonna play that music." I said, "Yeah, he can play it." Because I feel if you're a kid, you can do what kids do. Because when you get to be grown, some shit you ain't gonna be able to do. So you can do it. Girl, that boy cut that damn tablet on, and they talking about, "Can you show me how to get to Sesame Street?" Ah! And he looked at her like, "Damn, bitch."
Oh my goodness.
But he looked at her as if he knew she was anticipating him playing the song I'm Different. But he
Right.
played Sesame Street. Girl, that was so damn funny. I
Wow.
laughed so damn hard. I thought they were going to put me out the damn restroom. The restaurant. I'm talking about the damn restroom. Okay, my producer keep hitting me with these damn questions. Okay, is the book downloadable? That's what everybody wants to know. Is the book downloadable?
It is available on ebook. So if you're able to download from ebook, then the answer is yes.
Oh, okay. It's ebook. That's not the same as the downloadable books on
That's
Amazon.
like a reading book on the computer. If you have a Kindle, they still have
Okay.
those.
Okay. And have you had positive reactions from those who've read it?
Yes.
Yeah, and I have to
People,
go give my review too because I just got it in the mail just the other day. When you told me about it, I immediately ordered it because I know how you write and I know you. So, yeah, but I know if she doesn't have any positive feedback, it's because people didn't read it. Because she also has questions in the book that you can address for the children. It's an awesome book for anybody that's dealing with the prison system. And if you've never dealt with the prison system, okay, you may say this is not the book for you. But again, if you haven't dealt with the prison system, you know somebody that has. You know a friend, you know a family member, you know a coworker, you know somebody that has dealt with this system. And this system is so very unfair. It is very good for us to, help our children be in a better place because unfortunately for our children, they don't get to go to the country club when they're little. They have to go where their parents are. And a lot of our children parents are incarcerated. As a matter of fact, you have inspired me. I'm going to pen a book. I spent 13 years in and out of prison, and I didn't even think on this level, but this is really such a beautiful thing. We're getting up on our final minutes. And is there another book in the works? I'd like to know, and the people would like to know, similar to this one.
no, not at the moment. It's only by inspiration. And I would like to go back to one thing in reference to the reviews. When you order your book from Amazon, please feel free to leave a review and let other people know how it did, help you or what it did for you or a child or anyone that you may share it with. And you can always give it, as a gift. I would say read it and pass it on to someone else.
Fantastic, fantastic. I want to thank everybody that came to meet the author. She's absolutely beautiful, and she does have another book. Would you tell a little bit about your other book before we go? We have just a little bit of time. Could you kind of
A
just hit on
little
it
bit about the other book.
a
It was
little bit?
based, all of my books are based on personal experience. Instead of becoming bitter, you take it and you put your experience in writing so that you hope that it can help someone else. And because I am a Christian and based on an experience as far as a marriage is concerned and a divorce, I just put it to paper as far as questions I should have asked before I said I do. So the title of that book is 20 Questions to Ask Before You Say I Do.
And on that note, everybody, I want to again thank you all for coming and spending this hour with us. Please, if you can, go to Amazon, order the book. If not for you, maybe give it to someone else. And again, like I said, the first two people that send me a request, I will gift them a book. I am always asking that you become a member if you're not a member. um, we have some nice perks, and as I grow and as my bank grows, then so will my gift giving will grow. I still give away one free massage per month. August is taken, and so I'll be doing for September. And what we will do is I'm going to try to get that wheel, but because I don't like technology and I don't really understand how to work a lot of stuff, I don't know at this time if I'll have the wheel so that we can choose, because we want to be fair. But whoever, you have to live in a city where they have a massage envy, because that's where I have them. Monique, my beautiful niece, hi, I didn't see you. And that's what I hate when I miss somebody, because I don't want anybody to feel left out. Sometimes this thing goes slow and then I'm going trying to get it up. So, Jackie, I want to thank you for joining me. Do know that we will be asking you to come back a little later and you can tell us what you've experienced from writing that book, and if the feedback that you got inspired you to write a little bit more on the subject. And so
And
I want to
thank you,
thank you.
Cheryl, so very much for having me on to, publicize to the world, because I know you are reaching even international
Yes.
this book, because I know it's going to help so many. Because as you said, we all have been affected in some way by the prison system. If not a child, a spouse, it's a cousin. It has been somebody.
It's somebody. That is so true. It's somebody we know. That's so
Yes.
true. I thank everybody for joining us. Jackie, if you'd
And
like to
thank you,
leave now.
audience, for listening and supporting Cheryl. Please continue to do so.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. We're growing exponentially, but I tell you, I've lost a few people in the last days. I've lost about 7 or 8 people, and that's okay. Like you said, life is a cycle. And so for some, this is not for them. And for others, they're just learning of me. So I just continue to go. By the way, I want to let everybody know about my song that I have. I've been sharing it with everybody on IG. If you would hit the streaming links that are there. Jackie, I did a song. I don't know if I got to tell you about it. I'll send it to you. Did I send it to you already?
The
My song?
song, no.
Hold on. Okay. I'll send it to you. But
Thank you.
Nafai, hi. I'm glad you made it before we left. But please hit the like button, everybody. And if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. Share this. Maybe y'all know somebody that knows somebody. A lot of people in the church have family members in prison, but they're ashamed and they don't
Yes.
want people to know. So maybe you can just share it with somebody. Just tell them to look at this video and tell them if they know somebody to tell them to look at the video. And it will help our people. As you know, we are the most incarcerated people. And now we have more mothers going than we do fathers. So please share this book. It will help our future generation. And on that note, I'm going to say to everyone, I am leaving the tiger's den. Goodbye.
This video was made for education and entertainment purposes only. There's no malice or ill intent from the content creator. So please like, share, and subscribe, and have a great evening. Good night.